Hey gang, welcome back to another episode of the Helpful Home Inspector. Today we are here with another episode from our Seller's Guide to Surviving a Home Inspection. In this episode, we're going to be talking about exactly what happens during a home inspection, understanding a little bit about that process. All right. Now, in our previous videos, just to recap real quickly, in the first one we talked about the making a positive environment, making it a welcoming environment for the home inspection to occur, not only for the buyers but also for the home inspector. In the second one, we talked about getting a pre-sale or pre-listing inspection, a crucial piece of this process. Okay. Not only is it going to give you the glimpse into your property from a impartial party's perspective, but it's also going to help save you a lot of money in the long run. In the third one, we talked a little bit about preparing for that home inspection and what things you can do to be better prepared for that inspection. And in the last one we just got done talking about, we talked about what to do on the day of the inspection. So the day of the inspection is here. What are the things that you need to do to be prepared for that home inspector showing up at your house? All right. And those, you can click on those videos by going into our channel, or else we'll have some other links and things like that you can click on to get those different videos to learn more about this process. This episode here today, we're going to be talking about the process of a home inspection and what is going to happen on that day at your house while you're not there. When it comes to the home inspection, the home inspector is going to pull up to the home, and they're going to probably, before they even get out of their truck even, take a picture of the front of the house. That is for the front of the report. In today's world, with digital cameras and digital technology the way that it is, the home inspector is going to take a lot of pictures at home. On average, I'll take anywhere from 200 to 300 pictures at a house. Some are for the inspection report, some are just to document materials or conditions and things like that. Not necessarily things that are going to go in the report. Digital pictures don't cost me anything, but they give me a glimpse into that moment, at that time, at that day, at the inspection, and give me better information so that I can write my report and make some information readily available to the buyer so that they know what they're looking at and purchasing. All right. So the home inspector pulls up to the house. They take a picture of the outside of the house. Then they're going to probably come up and knock on the door, introduce themselves. If you're home, you should be gone. Okay. Try to be gone. They're going to knock on the door and see if anybody's home, just so they don't alert or scare anybody or anything like that when they're coming up to the home or walking around the outside of the home. And if nobody's there, they're going to probably use the lockbox and enter the home. They're going to probably go right to the kitchen, set down their box and their work stuff, and then they're going to go and start inspecting the home. Now, in our procedure, we start on the outside of the house. We inspect the outside of the house first, and then we move into the home and inspect the interior of the home. Inspectors do things a little bit differently from one inspector to the other. With one inspection company, the buyer and their real estate agent may show up at the same time as the home inspector. In the way that we do ours, I show up for the first 2 hours focusing on nothing but inspecting the property without distraction. So my buyers actually come a couple hours after I've gotten there. The real estate agent usually will come a little bit before them just to prepare the home and be ready for everybody to show up. The home inspector is going to be walking around the property, taking pictures, evaluating. They're going to operate your furnace. They're going to operate your air conditioner. They're going to look up in your attic. They're going to test all the outlets they can reach and see. They're going to test all the windows they can reach and see. They're going to open and close all your doors. They're going to be shining their flashlight all over the place, looking for water damage and that kind of stuff. They're going to be looking for any leaking pipes. They're going to be running your faucets and your toilets and shower heads and all that kind of stuff. When I go into a bathroom, I'm running the sink for 3 minutes. I'm running the shower for 3 minutes. I'm flushing the toilet 3 times. I'm putting a lot of water through the house to make sure that all the plumbing systems are working properly, as well as the drain, waste, and vent systems are working properly. All right. What's going to happen is the buyers are going to be there as well. Now, the buyers are going to basically, in a situation where the home inspector has them come at the very beginning, the buyer is going to follow them around. At some point, they usually get bored and end up just, sitting in the kitchen and chit-chatting with their real estate agent. Okay. But the buyer is there to get information from the home inspector about the condition of the property. Now, in my situation, when my buyers come, my buyers are going to get my full attention for about an hour to an hour and a half to make sure that I'm giving them my full attention and giving them all the information I possibly can to help them make good, educated decisions about purchasing that property. All right. And its general condition. During my hour and a half walkthrough, I do walk the buyers through the entire property, inside and out. We go through every room. We go through the outside. We go through the whole basement and stuff. In the case of a lot of other home inspectors, they're just going to give them a summary in the kitchen when they're done with their inspection. They're going to say, these are the major things that I found wrong with the property. property. If there's anything that the buyer didn't see at the same time as the home inspector was looking at it, they might take them back there to look at that one thing, but then they're all going to pack up. And even in my situation, we're all going to be packing up at the end. I'm going to take all my tools and materials, go put them in the truck. We're going to shut off all the lights. We're going to lock up all the doors. We're going to make sure the temperature is set back to what it originally was when we showed up at the home. In general, when a home inspector comes in the home, their goal and one of their main jobs is to leave the house in the exact condition it was found when they originally arrived there, minus maybe a couple sheets of toilet paper or something, you know. But ultimately, they're there to do their inspection, and they're not going to be going through your drawers or anything like that. They're going to operate your closet doors and things like that just to make sure that the closet doors work, but they're not going to be going through your clothes or anything like that. So don't be suspicious of those types of things. That's just not what's going to happen, all right? But they do have an obligation to make sure the cabinetry works. They're going to have an obligation to make sure that the doors open and close and things like that. The home inspection process is very thorough, but it's not that intrusive to a homeowner, all right? Now, in the event that you refuse to leave the property, okay, know that it's going to be difficult for you to sit there and listen to what the home inspector has to say without trying to argue with them or anything like that, okay? The home inspector is not trying to create argument. They're denoting things in factual situations that occur. And yes, that maybe the pipe hasn't leaked in the 8 years that you've lived there, but there's evidence that the pipe is corroded and it had leaked at some point. They're obligated to say that to their buyers. Those are all discussions that you can have at a later time, but it just, you being there just makes it uncomfortable, not only for you, but for the buyers and everybody involved. So usually better that you're gone for that process. It can be very hard to see people going through your home and see somebody walking around taking pictures of your home and then having conversations about negative elements of your home. It was your home. It's where you raised your kids. It's hard to hear those types of things. So I would really advise you to be gone during that period, but ultimately the home inspection is a thorough process, and they're going to uncover almost everything that the house has to offer. But the thing with the home inspection is it's not going to find absolutely everything, okay? And the more that you do to better maintain and take care of your home will give the home inspector less things to talk about that are negative about the home. As I go through a house as a home inspector, I also point out the positives. So if you have a newer roof, I point it out. If you have a young furnace, I point it out. If you have updated electrical systems, I point it out. We're definitely going to be pointing out the positive things as well. But in general, a lot of the time that we spend at home is talking about the things that are wrong with the home and something that is broken or damaged or has the potential to cause damage or harm in the home. But the home inspection process is very thorough, very detailed, something as a seller you probably don't want to be there for, okay? The home inspector is going to generate a report. In Wisconsin, it's required to be in the buyer's hands within 24 hours after the home inspection. And the buyers and their agent are going to digest that report. They're going to basically go through it and see how they feel about everything. If they are going to choose to negotiate anything, they'll send you an amendment and things like that. Generally, as a common courtesy, it's usually the home inspection report is going to be shared with the seller, but that's in some contracts I've heard it be required, but in most cases just given to them as given to you, the sellers, as a common courtesy. As far as the home inspection report goes, it is the official findings of the home inspector, all right? And as far as if the home inspector in Wisconsin declares that there's something is a defect, it is a defect. Nobody gets to argue about that anymore. The home inspector basically do some rule changes and law changes recently in the state of Wisconsin. The home inspector's opinion as to whether or not something meets the definition of a defect is the only opinion that counts anymore. So if they determine that it is a defect, know that if this buyer does for some reason walk away, you will have an obligation to share or disclose those defects to anybody else that may come through the home. But you really want to tell everybody about what's going on in your house anyways. Just be forthright and upfront about everything. As far as the day of the home inspection goes, when the home inspector leaves and the real estate agent leaves, all the lights will be turned off, all the doors will be locked, and you're free to come home at that point. Sometimes they will send a note to your listing agent that they're done at the property. But otherwise, just give them a little bit of extended time. If you see a bunch of people still parked in your driveway, just stay down the street or whatever and wait patiently for them to get done with their time. Don't go back and push them out or force them out or get upset with them. It just creates a lot of uncomfortableness with the transaction. All right, but that's kind of what a day of the home inspection is going to look like and what's going to happen at your house while you're gone. But it is a very detailed, very thorough process. But know that it is designed to be a fair process. So it should just be identifying the facts and and conditions at the property. The home inspector doesn't make things up. They either exist or they don't exist. And at that point, if there's negotiating or anything like that that happens, that's going to be something your real estate agent is going to help you work through. A good real estate agent in this situation is very, very valuable. So having somebody on your side that knows how to negotiate these types of things is very advantageous to you. Ultimately, that's kind of what the day's going to look like. All right. Thanks again for tuning in, you guys. Remember, the better you take care of your house, the better it's going to take care of you. And again, if you haven't already gotten one of these flyers about the Seller's Guide to Surviving a Home Inspection, leave your email address in the comments down below. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.